The battlefield was quiet, not the peaceful kind of quiet, but the heavy silence that came after too much noise. Broken metal covered the ground. Burned ships lay half buried in the dust. The air still smelled of smoke and heat, even though the fighting had ended hours ago. Captain Elias Halle walked slowly through the ruins. His armor was scratched and dirty, but he kept his weapon ready. Wars were never truly over until every corner was checked. He had learned that lesson the hard way. Beside him walked his dog. Rex was not just any dog. He was trained for combat zones, trained to hear danger before humans could. His dark fur was dusty, his ears alert. He moved with calm confidence, stepping around broken weapons and shattered armor, like he had done this 100 times before. Halle trusted Rex more than any scanner. "This place is dead," Halle muttered to himself. His voice echoed inside his helmet. Nothing left but scrap. Rex did not answer, of course. He only walked forward, nose close to the ground, tail steady. The dog had seen war since he was a pup. He had learned the difference between silence and safety. They moved past a destroyed alien tank. Its symbol, once feared across the galaxy, was now cracked and burned. Halle paused for a moment, staring at it. This enemy species had fought humans for years. They were known as cruel, cold, and merciless. At least, that was what everyone said. Halle pushed the thought away and kept walking. Suddenly, Rex stopped. Not slowly, not carefully. He stopped like he had hit an invisible wall. "Rex?" Halle said, tightening his grip on his rifle. The dog lifted his head. His ears stood straight. His body became tense. He did not growl. He did not bark. He just listened. Halle followed his gaze. There was nothing but broken metal and dark shadows between two crashed ships. "Movement?" Halle whispered. Rex took one step forward, then another. His nose lifted, catching a scent the human could not smell. Then he sat down. That was strange. Rex was trained to signal danger by freezing or pulling back. Sitting meant something else. "Rex, stay alert," Halle said quietly. The dog ignored the command. Instead, Rex barked once. The sound echoed across the empty battlefield. Hale's heart jumped. "Rex, quiet." Too late. The bark was not loud or angry. It was sharp and clear, like a call. Rex stood up and barked again, turning his head toward the pile of debris. Halle raised his weapon and moved forward. Slow and careful. "Rex, back," he ordered. Rex did not move back. He moved forward. Halle cursed under his breath and followed. As they got closer, Halle saw something between the metal plates. A shape, large, UNMOVING. Alien armor. Halle froze. "Enemy," he whispered. His finger tightened on the trigger. The war rules were simple. Enemy soldiers left on the field were assumed hostile. No chances. No risks. Halle stepped closer, weapon aimed. Then he heard it. A sound, low, weak. Not a weapon. Not a threat. It was a breath. Rex reached the alien first. He sniffed the armor then. The exposed skin near the neck. The alien did not move. His chest rose and fell slowly, unevenly. Rex looked back at Halle. And then he did something that broke every rule. He sat down beside the alien. Halle stared in shock. "Rex, move." Rex did not move. Instead, the dog placed one paw gently on the alien's chest and let out a soft bark. Not a warning, not a threat, a call for help. Hale's mind raced. This was wrong. Everything about this was wrong. The enemy had killed human soldiers, burned cities, destroyed colonies. This alien deserved no mercy. That was what Halle had been told. But the alien did not look like a monster. He was badly wounded. One arm was twisted at a painful angle. Dark blood stained the ground beneath him. His breathing was shallow, his eyes closed. He was dying. Halle lowered his weapon slightly. "Rex," Halle said slowly. "That thing is the enemy." Rex looked at him again. His eyes were calm. No fear, no hate, just trust. Holly took a deep breath. Years of training screamed at him to finish the job. One shot. Quick, clean, safe. But something stopped him. Maybe it was the silence of the battlefield. Maybe it was the way Rex refused to leave. Or maybe it was the simple truth standing in front of him that this was not a monster. This was a wounded being, alone and left behind. Holly powered down his rifle. He knelt beside Rex and the fallen alien. "All right," he said quietly. "Let's see what we're dealing with." Rex wagged his tail once, and in that moment, on a broken battlefield far from home, a single choice was made. A choice that would change everything. Captain Holly worked fast. The battlefield was not safe, even after the war had ended. Patrol drones could return. Enemy scouts could still be hiding. Every second mattered. Holly opened his medical pack and knelt beside the wounded alien. Up close, the damage was worse than he first thought. The alien's armor was cracked open. Near the chest, dark blood leaked slowly, soaking into the dust. "He won't last long like this," Holly muttered. Rex stayed close, sitting beside the alien like a guard. His body was relaxed, but his eyes watched everything. If danger came, Rex would know first. Holly removed his helmet and took a deep breath. The air was thin and dry. He looked at the alien's face. The enemy looked older than Holly expected. Deep lines marked his skin. His breathing was rough, like every breath hurt. "Strange," Holly whispered. "You don't look like the monsters they warned us about." He shook his head. This was not the time for thoughts like that. Holly activated his scanner and ran a quick check. The results appeared on his wrist screen. Broken ribs. Internal bleeding. Shocked. Holly clenched his jaw. Damn. Saving this alien would not be easy. And if Command found out, Holly knew the punishment would be severe. Helping an enemy was seen as betrayal. Holly looked at Rex. "You know this could get us killed, right?" he said softly. Rex did not move. He only placed his paw more firmly on the alien's chest, as if saying, "He's under my protection." Holly let out a slow breath. "All right," he said. "We try." He injected a stabilizer into the alien's neck. The drug was designed for humans, but it often worked on other species too. The alien's breathing became a little smoother. Rex let out a low, happy sound. "Don't get too excited," Holly said. "This is just the start." As Holly began bandaging the wounds, the alien suddenly moved. His eyes snapped open. They were wide with fear. The alien tried to push himself back, but pain stopped him. He let out a weak cry and raised his good arm in defense. "No!" The alien gasped in broken human language. "Please, don't kill me." Holly froze. "You speak our language?" Holly asked. The alien's eyes flicked between Holly and Rex. Confusion mixed with terror. "Learned," the alien said slowly. "For war. For orders." Holly lowered his hands and slowly stepped back to give space. "Easy," Holly said. "You're not being attacked." The alien laughed weakly. "Lies," he whispered. "Humans kill prisoners." Holly felt a sharp sting in his chest. "That's what they told you?" Holly asked. The alien closed his eyes for a moment. "That is what we were shown. Humans are cruel. Humans enjoy pain." Rex moved closer and gently pushed his nose against the alien's arm. The alien flinched, then stopped. The dog was warm, alive, real. "Let your animal touch me?" the alien asked. Rex wagged his tail once. "He's not an animal," Holly said. "He's my partner." The alien stared at Rex like he was seeing something impossible. "Why?" the alien whispered. "Why help me?" Holly did not answer right away. He finished sealing the wound and applied a pressure wrap. His hands were steady, even though his mind was not. "Because you were left behind," Holly finally said. "And because you're alive." The alien swallowed hard. "I was abandoned," he admitted. "Our retreat was rushed. Wounded were unacceptable losses. Hale felt anger rise in his chest. Not at the alien, but at the war itself. You were disposable, Hale said. Yes, the alien replied. As you would be to your leaders. Hale said nothing. In the distance, a faint mechanical hum echoed across the ruins. Rex's ears snapped. Up, patrol, Hale whispered. The alien's eyes widened. They will kill you, he said, if they see me with you. Hale looked around quickly. There was a narrow gap beneath a fallen ship, hidden from most scanners. Can you move? Hale asked. The alien tried and failed. Pain crossed his face. Hale nodded. Then we carry you. Rex stood up, ready. Hale grabbed the alien under the arms and dragged him slowly toward the wreckage. Every sound felt too loud. Every second felt dangerous. The patrol hum grew closer, then faded away. Silence returned. Hale leaned against the metal, breathing hard. That was too close. He muttered. The alien looked at Hale with something new in his eyes. Not fear, not hate. Confusion. You risked your life, the alien said. For an enemy. Hale looked down at Rex, who sat proudly beside them. No, Hale replied quietly. I risked my life for a choice. Rex barked once, softly. And in that dark hiding place, with danger all around them, the enemy began to understand something he was never taught. Humans were not what the war had told him, and this dog might have just saved them all. The dark space under the crashed ship felt small and heavy. Captain Hale sat with his back against cold metal, his rifle resting beside him. Rex lay near the entrance, head up, ears alert. Outside, the battlefield remained silent, but Hale knew silence could lie. The wounded alien lay on the ground, breathing slowly now. The medicine had helped, but his body was still weak. His eyes stayed open, watching Hale and Rex carefully, like a cornered creature waiting for pain. My name is Hale, the human said at last. His voice was calm, low. Captain Elias Hale. The alien hesitated. Names are not given to enemies. Hale nodded. Then don't give it. Not yet. The alien seemed surprised by that answer. He studied Hale's face, searching for anger or hate. He found none. Rex shifted slightly and placed himself closer to the alien's side, giving warmth. The alien stiffened at first, then relaxed as the dog stayed still. You trust him near me, the alien said quietly. I trust him more than anyone, Hale replied. The alien closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them again, something had changed. My name, he said slowly, is Kale. Hale looked at him. Good to meet you, Kale. Kale let out a weak breath. If your kind finds me, they will kill me. If my kind finds me, they will kill me faster. That makes 3 of us, Hale said. I won't last long either if command knows what I'm doing. Kale turned his head slightly. Then why do it? Hale did not answer right away. He checked the bandage again, then adjusted the power cell on his armor. Because someone has to stop believing every order, Hale said. And because Rex made the choice before I did. Rex thumped his tail softly against the metal. Kale watched the dog with confusion. In my culture, he said, we are taught that humans use animals as tools, weapons. Hale smiled faintly. Some tools choose who they protect. Kale almost smiled too, but pain stopped him. Time passed slowly. The light outside shifted. As distant fires died down, Hale knew they could not stay here long. Supplies were limited, and Kale needed proper care. Kale, Hale said, what really started this war? Kale's eyes darkened. We were told humans attacked first. That you spread like disease. That if we did not strike, you would destroy us. Hale shook his head. We were told the same about you. Kale stared at the metal floor. Then, we were both fed lies. Before Hale could respond, Rex suddenly stood up. His ears flattened. His body stiffened. Hale reached for his rifle instantly. "What is it, boy?" Footsteps. Not mechanical this time. Boots. Human boots. Hale's blood ran. Cold. A shadow passed near the opening. A voice echoed through the wreckage. "Clear here," a soldier said. No movement. Hale held his breath. Rex moved in front of Kale, blocking him completely. The dog lowered his body, making himself look like just another shadow. The soldier's footsteps came closer. Kale's hand trembled. "They will see me," he whispered. Hale placed a hand on Kale's shoulder. "Stay still." The footsteps stopped right outside the wreck. For one long second, Hale thought it was over. Then Rex did something unexpected. He stepped forward and barked sharply away from the wreckage. The sound echoed across the battlefield. "Contact!" The soldier shouted. Movement left side. Boots rushed away. Shouts faded into the distance. Silence returned. Hale slowly exhaled. Rex came back and sat beside them, tail wagging slightly. "You distracted them," Hale whispered in disbelief. Kale stared at the dog with wide eyes. "He saved us." "Yes," Hale said quietly. "He did." Kale bowed his head slightly toward Rex, a gesture of respect from his species. "Your companion chose mercy," Kale said. "That is not weakness," Hale nodded. "Humans forget that sometimes." Kale looked up. "If I survive, I know things. Things that could end this war forever." Hale's eyes sharpened. "What kind of things?" "Proof," Kale said. "That both our leaders wanted this war. That fear was useful to them." Hale felt the weight of those words settle in his chest. "If that's true," Hale said, "people will die to keep it hidden." Kale met his gaze. "Then we must be careful." Outside, the stars began to show through the thinning smoke. Hale looked at Rex, then back at Kale. "One dog already chose a side," Hale said. "Looks like we're all in now." Rex barked softly, like an agreement. And deep under broken metal and old lies, trust began to grow quiet, fragile, and dangerous. The hiding place did not feel safe anymore. Captain Hale checked the sky through a narrow crack in the broken ship. The smoke was clearing, and distant lights from human transports moved slowly across the horizon. The battlefield was waking up again. They could not stay. Kale lay still, his breathing weaker than before. The medicine was wearing off, and the pain was returning. Rex stayed close, pressing his warm body against Kale's side to keep him steady. "We need to move you," Hale said quietly. "Soon." Kale opened his eyes. "If you take me with you, your people will ask questions." Hale nodded. "They always do." Kale swallowed. "Then you must know the truth now, in case we do not survive." Hale turned fully toward him. "I'm listening." Kale's voice was low. "I was not just a soldier, I was a systems officer. I worked near the War Command Network." Hale's expression hardened. "Go on." Kale closed his eyes, gathering strength. "The first human colony was not destroyed by us. It was sabotaged." Hale felt his stomach tighten. "By who?" "By our leaders," Kale answered. "And yours." The words hit harder than any weapon. "That's impossible," Hale said. "Millions died." "Yes," Kale replied. "That was the point." Kale explained slowly, pausing often to breathe. The galaxy's major powers feared peace. Fear kept control strong. A shared enemy kept citizens obedient. The war had been planned. Attacks were staged. Messages were altered. Evidence was destroyed. Hale clenched his fists. "You're saying this war was built on lies?" "Yes," Kale said. "And I have proof." Hale looked sharply at him. "Where?" Kale lifted his hand weakly and touched the data core embedded in his broken armor. "Here. Command logs, orders, recorded voices." Hale's heart raced. "If anyone finds that, they will kill us all." Kale finished. A sudden beep cut through the silence. Rex growled softly. Hale's wrist screen flashed red. Unauthorized. Signal detected. They're scanning again, Hale whispered. Before Hale could move, a sharp voice echoed through the ruins. Captain Hale. Identify yourself. Hale froze. That voice belonged to Lieutenant Cross, a man who followed orders without question. Hale stepped out just enough to be seen. This is Captain Hall. Area is clear. Cross's boots approached. His shadow stretched long across the wreckage. Command shows your signal stopped moving, Cross said. Problem with your unit? Hale forced calm into his voice. Minor damage, nothing serious. Cross's eyes narrowed as he looked past Hale, scanning the shadows. What's in there? Cross asked. Rex stepped forward, standing tall between Cross and the wreck. Just my dog, Hale said quickly. Cross smirked. You and that animal again. Always thought it was strange. Cale held his breath. Cross raised his scanner and pointed it toward the wreckage. The device beeped once, then twice. Hale's pulse thundered in his ears. Cross frowned. That's odd. Rex suddenly barked loudly and lunged at a piece of loose metal. The metal crashed down with a massive clang, sending dust into the air. Cross jumped back. Damn dog! Careful! Hale snapped. Unstable structure. Cross hesitated, then lowered the scanner. Fine, I'll report it as cleared. He turned and walked away. Only when Cross was gone did Hale allow himself to breathe. That man, Cale whispered, would have killed you without hesitation. Hale nodded. He would say he was following orders. Hale knelt beside Cale. We're getting you off this battlefield. Cale shook his head weakly. There's a human outpost nearby. Hidden, not on official maps. How do you know? Hale asked. I helped build the lies, Cale replied. I know where they hide truth. Hale looked at Rex. Looks like we're going off the books, Hale said. Rex barked once. Ready. Hale activated an emergency cloak, lifted Cale carefully, and started moving through the ruins. Behind them, the battlefield watched in silence, because 3 lives now carried a secret powerful enough to break the galaxy, and many would kill to keep it buried. The night was cold and full of shadows. Captain Hale moved slowly through the ruins, carrying Cale across his back. Every step sent pain through Cale's body, but he did not cry out. He knew sound could mean death. Rex walked ahead, silent and alert. His eyes scanned the darkness, his ears catching sounds far beyond human hearing. The emergency cloak flickered. Around them, bending light just enough to hide movement, but not enough to stop bad luck. They were halfway to the hidden outpost when Rex suddenly froze. Hale felt it before he saw it. Danger. Rex lowered his body and growled softly. Not loud enough to alert enemies, but strong enough to warn his human. Hale stopped. What is it, boy? Rex did not look back. He stared into the dark, then the air exploded with light. A stun blast hit the ground inches from Rex. Contact! A voice shouted. Hale dove behind a broken wall, pulling Cale down with him. The cloak failed, sparks flying as it shut down completely. So much for stealth. Human soldiers rushed in from both sides. Their weapons were raised, lights blinding. Rex stood in the open. Rex, get back! Hale shouted. The dog did not move. Instead, Rex charged. He ran straight at the soldiers, barking loudly, drawing all eyes to himself. Blaster fire lit the air around him. Rex! Hale yelled, panic in his voice. Cale watched in horror. Your dog, he will die. Rex leaped onto a soldier, knocking him to the ground. Another blast hit close, throwing Rex into the dirt. Hale's heart stopped. No! Hale roared. Hale rose from cover and fired, hitting a power unit and sending sparks everywhere. Smoke filled the area. Soldiers shouted in confusion. Rex moved, injured but alive. He limped back toward Hale. Blood on his side. Hale dropped beside him, hands shaking. You idiot! You brave idiot! Rex licked Hale's hand weakly. Cale stared at the scene with wide eyes. He chose you. Over his own life. Hale swallowed hard. That's what loyalty is. The soldiers regrouped quickly. Captain. Hale, a voice shouted. Stand down. You are under arrest for aiding the enemy. Hale looked around. They were surrounded. No escape. Cale reached weakly into his armor and removed the data core. Take this, he said. If I die, the truth must live. Hale shook his head. We all make it out. Another blast struck the wall near them. Rex tried to stand again. Stay. Hale whispered. Rex ignored him. The dog stepped in front of Cale. He planted his feet. He growled. The soldiers hesitated. A dog? One of them muttered, That's it. Rex barked once, deep and powerful. Something about that sound made the soldiers uneasy. Hale saw it then. Hale stood up slowly, weapon lowered. This ends now, Hale said. I won't fire on my own people. A soldier stepped forward. You already betrayed us. No, Hale replied. I protected the truth. Cale spoke loudly, forcing his voice through the pain. Your leaders lied to you. I have proof. Laughter answered him. Aliens always lie. Rex turned his head and looked at Hale. Then he did something no one expected. Rex sat down right in front of them all. Calm, steady, unafraid. The battlefield went quiet, a dog willing to die without attacking. Hale spoke softly. If this alien is a monster, why does my dog trust him? No one answered. The soldiers looked at each other. Lowered weapons followed. Finally, one soldier whispered, Sir, this doesn't feel right. Sirens echoed in the distance, different from human alarms. Cale's eyes widened. That sound. It's not yours. From the sky above, unfamiliar ships descended marked with neutral symbols. Observers. Galactic Peace Authority. Hale smiled faintly. Looks like someone was listening. Rex collapsed from exhaustion. Hale caught him. You did good, boy. Hale whispered. The soldiers stepped back as the neutral ships landed. For the first time since the war began, no one fired a shot, because loyalty had stood in the open, and the galaxy had seen it. The neutral ships settled on the battlefield like silent judges. Bright white poured from their open doors. Soldiers stepped out wearing the symbol of the Galactic Peace Authority. Their armor was clean, untouched by war. They did not point weapons. They only watched. Captain Hale held Rex in his arms. The dog was breathing, but weak. A deep burn marked his side. Hale's hands were steady, but his heart was not. Medical team now. A Peace Authority officer ordered. 2 medics rushed forward and carefully lifted Rex onto a floating stretcher. Cale was taken next, his wounds scanned and sealed with advanced tools. Hale stood alone. Human soldiers formed a line behind him. Some looked ashamed. Others looked angry. All looked unsure. A tall Peace Authority officer stepped forward. Captain Elias Hale, you are accused of aiding an enemy combatant and hiding classified material. Hale nodded. Yes. You do not deny it? No, Hale said. I explain it. Cale, now supported by a medical frame, raised his head. I request permission to speak. The officer paused, then nodded. Cale lifted the data core. This contains recorded orders from both human and alien high command. It proves the war was planned. A murmur spread through the crowd. Human officers stepped forward in shock. That's impossible. Play it, the Peace Authority officer said. The core activated. Voices echoed across the battlefield. Clear, cold, familiar. We need an enemy. Fear keeps the systems obedient. Casualties are acceptable. Human voices. Alien voices. Silence followed. One human officer dropped to his knees. Hale closed his eyes. Peace Authority officer spoke again. This evidence will be verified. If true, the consequences will be vast. Cale looked at Hale. You could have killed me and stayed a hero. Hale looked back. Heroes who ignore truth become villains. Rex let out a weak bark from the stretcher. Hale smiled. Human command officers arrived soon after. Their faces were tight with fear and anger. "This man acted alone," one commander said quickly. "We disavow his actions." Hale stepped forward. "No, I acted as a human." "That stopped them. You taught us humans are better," Hale continued. "That we protect the weak, that we question lies. Today I did exactly that." The Peace Authority officer raised a hand. "Human command is hereby ordered to stand down." 4. The first time in recorded history, human forces obeyed an order not from their own leaders, but from truth. Across the galaxy, the data was transmitted. Colonies watched in silence. Families listened in shock. Veterans cried. The war that defined generations collapsed in a single broadcast. Hours later, Rex survived surgery. Hale sat beside him, one hand resting on the dog's head. "You saved more lives than any soldier." Hale whispered. Rex opened one eye and thumped his tail. Kale was moved to a secure medical chamber. Before he left, he looked at Hale. "Your species will be hated for this," Kale said. "Truth makes enemies." Hale nodded. "We're used to that." The Peace Authority officer approached Hale. "History will remember this moment." Hale shook his head. History should remember him. He nodded toward Rex. In that moment, humanity made a choice, not to win, not to dominate, but to be better, and the galaxy noticed. The war did not end with a final battle. It ended quietly, across the galaxy. Weapons powered down. Fleets stopped moving. Soldiers waited in silence, watching screens that showed the truth they were never meant to see. Lies collapsed faster than armies ever did. Captain Hale stood on the viewing deck of a Peace Authority station. Beyond the glass, stars drifted slowly, calm and endless. For the first time in years, no alarm sounded. Behind him, Rex rested on a soft medical bed. A metal plate now protected his injured side. He was thinner, weaker, but alive. Hale walked over and sat beside him. "You changed everything," Hale said softly. Rex opened his eyes and wagged his tail once. Kale stood nearby, supported by a light frame. His wounds were healing, but the weight on his mind was heavier than any injury. "My people call this day the shame of truth," Kale said. "Many are angry. Many are afraid." Hale nodded. "So are mine." Kale looked at Rex. "But they also call it something else." Hale raised an eyebrow. "What?" Kale paused. "The Day of the Dog." Hale let out a quiet laugh. "Weeks passed. Trials began. Leaders fell. Generals were arrested. The galaxy watched as those who used fear to rule lost their power. It was not easy. Riots broke out. Some worlds refused to accept the truth, but the war never returned, because everyone had seen it. A single human, a wounded enemy, and a dog who refused to choose hate. Rex became a symbol. Images of him sitting between enemies spread across networks. Statues were built on human worlds and alien ones. Schools told children the story of the dog who saw life instead of labels. Hale was offered medals, promotions, a place in history. He refused most of them. He chose to leave the military. On a quiet colony world near the edge of known space, Hale built a small home. The land was simple. The sky was wide. The nights were peaceful. Rex ran again. Not fast, not far, but free. Kale visited often, now an ambassador between species. He would sit outside with Hale, watching Rex sleep in the sun. "In my culture," Kale said one evening, "we believed mercy was weakness." Hale smiled. "We used to think the same." Rex lifted his head and barked softly, as if agreeing. On the anniversary of the war's end, the Peace Authority sent a final message across the galaxy. Not a speech, not a warning, a single image. Rex, sitting on a broken battlefield, paw resting on a wounded enemy. The message read, "This is how wars end." Hale watched the stars that night, Rex beside him. "You did good, boy," Hale whispered. Rex rested his head on Hale's knee. And somewhere across the galaxy, millions understood a simple truth at last. Humanity was not feared because of its weapons. It was remembered because it chose compassion, all because a dog barked and a human listened.